Hey guys, so I'm still in the UK and I'm going back to Tanzania soon, just a couple of days. I really can't wait to get back. I'm missing the children a lot, I'm missing my friends a lot, missing the dogs a lot, I'm missing home a lot. And I'm also missing this lot, meaning I'm missing the nature out there. And the reason I miss it a lot with regards to that is you can learn so much from nature, and whilst I'm here and I've got a little bit of downtime, I say a little bit because I'm still working on things for the year ahead. We've got a lot to do and a lot planned, and we have a lot of amazing plans and a lot of new amazing contacts, so some really miraculous things should happen in 2017. Aside from that, taking that I am on a holiday and my only one of the year, I've been doing a little bit of reading on things, and I was reading about nature because I was probably missing nature out there. And I often do this, but I saw something that's been discovered within a tree frog, which can relate so much to human spiritual progression. And it will be overlooked and missed by so many. I just wanted to talk how my mind saw it. And there's a tree frog, and they've discovered that when the frog has its eggs and they are on a leaf or a tree and they are inside the embryo stage, inside the eggs, they are guarded by a frog. The male frog guards them. However, when something attacks the embryos, so these tiny little embryonic spawns of the frog that are still in the egg stage, that are just a single cell organism with a tail, when something attacks one of its brothers or sisters, they know and they hatch early by sending an enzyme into the egg and then dropping down into the water. They always nest above water. And I needed to know more about this, so I went deep into it to understand what was going on. And it turns out, as far as they can see, it's all to do with vibration. Now, these tiny little undeveloped embryos of a frog, these hatchlings that are yet to develop into what we call a full living being, can determine between, if it's vibration, as they say, something attacking, like a snake, will come to eat the embryos. And when they feel the vibration of the snake, the brothers and sisters who are surviving and haven't been attacked yet will hatch and drop into the water. But the thing is, which is what I thought as well, is there are many things can vibrate it, so how do they know when it's a snake? And apparently they understand the difference in the vibration between a snake and that, say, of rain falling on them. Now, I found this beautiful because if that tiny little embryo, that tiny little tadpole, that tiny little organism which is barely even doesn't resemble anything like a frog, unless you're studying science, can determine the difference between the vibration of an attacking animal, so it knows to hatch and to escape. Hatch early and escape and risk the early hatch rather than developing fully inside the safety of the egg. And it knows that between a branch hitting them or between rainfall falling on them. Then how wonderful and beautiful an example it is of reading vibration. And here's the thing, I only want to make a very short video here, that many people who don't read and don't study and don't take an interest in the natural world and in science, when you bring something to them like the idea of extrasensory, as we would call it, or actually just fully developed human beings who can interpret certain things, they can sense when a person is a good person, they can sense when a person is a bad person, then people say it's just mumbo jumbo. And those people who say that, it's because they don't study, they don't read science. Because truly, when you read science and you hear that tiny little cell with hardly any development, with hardly any mind, with hardly any nervous system, without hardly any central nervous system and sensors around it, can determine between very subtle vibrations like the attack of a snake and that of rainfall, then what can a human being do with a fully developed brain, with a fully developed central nervous system, a fully developed organ which is your skin, which feels things, a fully developed emotional body? What can a human being sense vibrationally? And the only thing that gets in the way of us feeling it and understanding it is this side effect of the intelligence that grew our body, which is our own intelligence. Our carnal mind, as I always call it, our ego, our chattering mind, that part of your brain that won't shut up. That part of your brain is not you. This is an imposter most of the time, imposing itself as you. And when you silence that, you can start tuning into the other aspects of you, such as being able to read the vibrations of certain persons in the room. Some people call it being an empath, some people call it have clairaudience, some people predict things, or some people feel they can hear persons' thoughts. But science is clearly showing you that, of course, a heavily developed being who has the mental capacity and the development of a nervous system as complex as a human being's, to abandon inside science in schools that we don't pick up on the vibrations around us, because we do not teach this. When a single cell embryo who has yet to take its true first breath or to truly experience the world can do that, then it's sheer madness, and clearly we can see that science is a little bit backwards on that side of things. So I just wanted to share that these little guys who I saw sitting on the side of the tree provide for me a great deal of evidence that this much more complex living organism that we dwell inside as the beings that we are can pick up on vibrations. And I myself have this, so I know it, but I know many people scoff at it and say, how can that be? And it tends to be that those people are always thinking. They're never silent in their minds. They're always in their ego, they're always in their intellect. So they call it mumbo jumbo. But I think anyone can agree that if that little embryo that has barely even experienced life can determine in such a way and so definitively and so quickly so it can make an escape, then humans, of course, can interpret the vibrations around us. And other persons, when you go deeper into science, you understand that everything is vibrational. Your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, it's all existing in a vibratory reality. Ultimately, the consciousness that we are made up from is predominantly made from, as we know, atoms and dark matter which are vibrating and clashing into one another to form different forms. So for persons like I, who feel other people's emotions quite often in my life and find it difficult to be around people when I know that they don't have good intentions, etc., for me, if those persons who call all of that mumbo jumbo would just look at those little tiny frog spawn or frog eggs and understand that when something so undeveloped can do it, then of course humans can do it. But not only that, we should be teaching our children how to develop those skills, because if they are skills that can take a tiny little organism out of danger, they are also the intuitive skills that can take fully grown human beings out of danger. It's just we ignore them as something that we can't touch and feel and definitely and definitively see and study, because science is limited, so we presume it's not worth addressing it, but it is worth addressing it. And the development of our intuitive body for our children should be something that we teach. And the idea that we experience vibrations around us should also be something that we teach, especially with so much technology around us like phones, etc. now, because we don't know what those vibrations are doing to our well-being. So anyway, just a little one. Much love, guys. Bye.